Yeah, time's running out. Time's running out. Time is running out. And communication is running out. Everything is running out. And I'm running out of time too. And the planes are coming over. Going over my head here, and it's very, very, very late of the night, and you know, I'm just going to try to show the matrix around me, even though it's very late of the night, but the fact that that the plane is still going, but I'm just gonna try to show something here, and I can't really make myself comfortable because I've sort of given up on the on showing stuff, because the demigods of the Matrix will show you the truth about themselves. They will be your end time prophets and your end time it's very hard to realize that the one thing you need to accept about these demigod android, yes, in the spirit of Narcissism. Narcissus was the original god, or Lucifer, that became so infatuated with its own image, you could say, just as all these beings do, even though the end time deception is so great and so so seductive in its deception that the truth will be spoken through the mouths of the demigods, and the demigods are the end time prophets of Lucifer's legions, and they're everywhere. Those planes literally stalk and patrol me. Day and night, if they don't bring in enough other vehicles or other patrolling ones around, you know. But I'm just gonna you know, it's very late of a night, but they will even have patrolling planes if I just go down to the corner of this small dead-end street. They are playing possum in the sense that also it is a public holiday, so it's supposed to be quiet, and it's very late at the night, so they can't. That light just come on the house just there. Did you see that? Now it went off. Can you see this light? This is see the light going on and off there in front of me in the house opposite? That house is just letting me know that they're watching me out here. Did you see that light come on and off on the front of the house? No, it's not a faulty light. They've been doing that for years. They do it, see how it come on as soon as but they're just playing and on and off. They'll just do that to let me know. But either way, see, it's just coming on and off, but they've been doing that for years. But that's because every single house, every single building in this suburb of Leichhardt, every single part of it is completely controlled by an artificial life force or androgyne beings. They're quite obvious, but they're also not obvious because they completely copy the few humans or those that have any humane points, because that's really the difference, is that they are controlling beings. They're all about control and suppression of any positive human values, traits, anything, or they just want to control the entire environment and the world even, for that matter, really. And that's just essentially, and here's a plane coming to patrol me. As soon as I turned around and my line of sight, a patrol plane comes into my line of sight so that I'm aware that I'm being watched. These planes probably can actually see me very clearly, even though they are right up in the sky. That's why they stalk, the same way that the android beings and all the vehicles surround you. See how this plane is coming? Right in front of my line of sight. That is not even on a regular flight path. It is just a patrolling plane. See it moving there through the light? In my line of sight it's quite large, but the mobile will only show it as a tiny little movement, unfortunately. But it's flickering its lights at me, and it's basically just surrounding my sight. And if they come right over, they will also take over my sound, which is like they do when you're inside the house when they go right over your roof. But that's, it's very late of a night, so, but if I turn the mobile off, a patrol car will come onto the street. They will flash their lights at you. The lights are so bright on the car vehicles, both in the front and on the back, that they it's basically what they call, see that light come on? Gas lighting. See how that light's going off in front? That house is gaslighting me. The beings in there are deliberately gaslighting me with their light going on and off in the front. The gaslighting is simply so that my mind is taken up with them, so that I don't have my own mind, so I don't have my own life, you know. And that's why they have these excessively bright lights on the front and the back of all the cars, and you actually can't even see in front of yourself. Just watch this gaslighting light on the house where my eyes are looking. See? Can you see it? See it going on and off? It's quite bright for me, but I don't know if the mobile will pick it up. It will come on in a minute probably again, but it doesn't have to, because they're basically just playing me. So the fact that I'm showing it, they might turn it off. As soon as I move the mobile over here, for instance, they will probably put the light back on again. But it's just playing and letting you know that you're being watched, that you are under their control. It's gaslighting at a light level or a sight level. just as the plane's coming over my head here now. See it coming over my head? It's only a small plane, but it's coming over. They just happen to go over my head or in my line of sight wherever I go, and they go non-stop over the roof of my house if they are not making some other noise to take over my senses. You know, in other words, over my sight and sound, which is my life, because I am just my body and my mind, and my mind is controlled by my sight and sound and how my body feels. You know, that's my life, that's my existence, which they're taking over. See how the light just come on there as soon as my eyes went, but the mobile wasn't on it. See, now it's gone off. That's just gaslighting at a blinking light level. They like to flash the lights and blink them because that really is very distracting and disturbing. And when it's happening with every vehicle around you on the roads and pulling in front of you, even if you went down the most remote side street, they will bring a car with bright lights to take over your senses and to take over your life, or your mind, which is the same thing. Here comes another patrolling plane right in front of my line of sight. Can you see it? It's coming, it's moving. I'll see if I can get it coming through the light right in front of me, but it won't be large enough for the mobile to pick it up. And it's just, actually there was a great big full moon, what they call the supermoon, which was just a little bit larger a day or two ago, and I should have had the mobile when I went down to the corner, and it was quite bright, but I'm not sure what that means. See, it's going through the trees there, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to be picked up because even the sound of it is being muffled because a very strong wind is coming up. And it's very late of a night, so there shouldn't be any planes now. And the street has not showing any patrol vehicles. Normally they will bring, you know, at least one or two cars, no matter what time, onto the street with their bright lights to take over. But Lucifer's wind is raging. Lucifer's mind is angry. The God entity of this world and its legions of, some people might say that they, you know, they are, see the light come on over there. They're basically, and then as soon as I look, another patrol plane is coming right in front of me. It almost is like an attack, because when you look and your eyes see these bright lights coming at you, taking over your mind and my senses, basically it is an attack, but it's hidden because no one sees it but me. But it's all the time. See, here it comes, and the wind is blowing up so strong. It is, Lucifer is angry, and it's doing. These planes are quite low, but they won't be picked up by the mobile, unfortunately. But to my senses, my sight, and my sound, they are, you know, I'm very aware of their presence. Like, basically, I'm not allowed to be living in a normal, quiet area without their presence, and I'm going to avoid that, those android neighbours. And I say androids because they're all using technology. They're part of technology. They're part of a matrix control system in the entire area. They watch, they patrol, they suppress, they mimic, they copy, they imitate you. They read your thoughts and any good idea you have, even if it's just basically like filling in the potholes that you nearly fall into, or fixing up the grass where they destroy things, and then when they see that you notice, they cover them up so that way it looks as though the community council in the area is a positive thing, because that's all part of the community matrix, or basically what you could call the matrix of the suburb that you live in. They make it plain that the area where I am is the centre of these beings' control system in the city of Sydney, where I am. Of course, they can take their vehicles into any area they want, so if I change suburbs, it wouldn't make any difference. They would basically take their vehicles and their patrol force into that area. And also, I personally think that even in this city full of millions of people, that there is only a very minority real human population. The rest is all of the androids, or the duality, androgyne android beings. That's just the words that I have to use to describe that they're a totally different species or type of being. They basically are a different, basically I would say a very anti-life, very cold, very inhuman, pretend human being in a human body. So their human body is slightly different because they serve either consciously and or even unconsciously, because many would be what you would call programmed to believe they're real humans. This is so that they can replicate being a really human even better. It means that they almost have a foolproof way of disguising themselves, because it's a bit like they say Lucifer is a master of all lies, but also Lucifer, the light came on the place just here. See how there's a light flashing in front of me, how they're playing with the light and sound show to disturb me? Can you see that? I don't know whether the mobile, I have to go down and show it, but it's just almost next door here, where the light on the front of that place also is going on and off. It was off for all the time, but now because I'm out here, they're just doing that. But it's too hidden to where I can prove or show anything. But and also it's distracted me from my line of talking. So where was I? I've lost the line of talking. Basically, another plane coming right at me. It's coming. You see the lights coming, but it's not a big plane, it's a small plane. Usually they have big planes, but because I'm filming, they're using small ones. But my mobile has a poor picture quality too, unfortunately, which is, I should have a better picture quality for filming. Straight over my head, literally an army disguised plane, just as all the cars, trucks, buses and motorbikes and anyone on foot basically all the vehicles in Leichhardt, almost without exception, are disguised army vehicles. They're literally surrounding humans in a patrol force, not actually touching them, but mentally disturbing you to where they hope that you will, basically be mentally finished. And they, I had heard this when this first started happening to me, that it's what they call a soft kill. In other words, it's a slow, soft, gradual killing of you, to where you don't want to exist, because you can't exist, because they won't let you live and just get around without being totally patrolled and watched. And it's not like where you are being watched for your own safety. It's all where the vehicles make really loud noises and are aggressive towards you in a secret, covert manner, what they call in the written word hidden but in plain sight. The enemy, or the oppressors of real human beings, or the oppressors of those that are normal, natural human beings, or that associate themselves with the original creator God, as opposed to the technical creator being that controls all of Earth. It may not control every last living human being that is left, but it tries to, and it sets up a watch force around them. And when they think that, they're losing their covert control, or they're hidden in plain sight control, then they will come out in the open and openly expose themselves. Just as the demigods, here comes a patrol vehicle, one of my covert neighbours, android neighbours, going out at this late time, basically because I'm standing out here. They don't go anywhere, they just go out to watch you. And that's, because they don't like you even standing out the front of your own place. They don't want you to do anything at all that upsets their absolute total control. That's how they, we're told this, but we're told this now with the psychopathic types of individuals, that is all coming to light only because of the awareness of a few human beings. They have to then, the demigods, or the gods of the computer, or the controllers of the computer, the pretend human beings on the computer, that will be what you call your end time prophets. I guess that's what they would be called, really, end time truth tellers. And that's their last line of defense. That's them controlling by even exposing the truth, because they don't want real humans to be the ones to expose the truth, because then they might get some sort of backup. They want, like myself, to be isolated, standing with Lucifer blowing his gale at me, and the planes trying to it doesn't look like much, because usually the planes come over thick and fast, and if I go down to the corner and I took the mobile, which I don't take it, see how that light just come on there in the house? That's just matrix control, but that won't be picked up by the mobile. Oh, Lucifer. Because don't forget, they control the elements, they control the human, the light is flashing in front, but the mobile won't pick it up, unfortunately. But that's just like, why do these lights, see how it's just come on, can you see that, how it's just come on, and it was dark there, see it's gone off, see, is it coming out on the mobile or not, or am I just looking like as though I'm making it up or seeing things? But they want me to look like incompetent and very poor by comparison with them, even though well, it's a bit like they themselves will inform and tell you. They actually they're just not life, and they are anti-life. They are anti anything that is life. They don't like any sort of normal, productive, natural, creative life. Sure, they're the same ones that will be promoting saving the natural world, but in reality they want an artificial control system. That is just to get the real human beings to believe that they're the real human beings and that they're the same as them. That is just the seductive part of control. There's many ways you can control. Lucifer has always preferred to seduce rather than force, and that is only sorry that I haven't got more light to show how this wind is like a gale force wind coming up, and it is cold too, whereas it was 35 degrees today, which is strange. They just changed the conditions very quickly, and I don't think that I'll just go inside now. I'll try not to be sidetracked by the planes going over. There should be no planes because it must be really late or really early, depending on, I always like after midnight type of thing, but it's long since past, and I am just going to show the best of the demigods if I only can. I could pick many. I think that I find the best ones, the most convincing ones, the most it's like, if you want to know about this reality and the beings, the human beings, the apparent human beings that are, in your environment around you, in your local area, in your on your streets around you. But make no mistake, the ones on the computer and on the internet not only desire to seduce and control you, whether it be through seduction or by essentially they are most on the internet. If you are, if you're like myself, where you've you are being controlled, mind controlled by everyone around you and everything around you too, because like I say, the beings are using technology to mind control you or to gaslight you. That's simply, gaslighting is simply the use of mind control. It's using what they can to control your mind, to confuse you, to disturb you, to make you lose touch with reality and become part of their reality. They want me to focus on the planes going over. They want me to focus, which you can't help but focus on what's in your line of sight. So if every day when I go outside, the vehicles are all got their bright headlights flashing in my eyes everywhere I look, because it's all staged and set up to where I cannot find hardly a moment where I'm not surrounded by these beings and their light and sound show. That's taking over my senses, which is the same as taking over my mind, which is a form of mind control, and it's very effective. It works 100%. I am mentally disturbed now. I know I'm talking clear making this video because I'm trying to focus, and I'm putting all my effort into emphasizing this because it's angering me, it's fueling me to be more forceful and more upfront than what I normally would be. And not even, it's like, you know, it's like you feel that you are, that your existence is, you know, it's a bit like if you think you're going to die tomorrow, you feel you have nothing to lose by, you know, you'll clutch at straws and you will do things and say things and be more outgoing than what you normally would be. This is what's happened to me over the last number of years. But of course, in saying that, you will get the pretend androids come onto the internet and say how they are normally shy. They will basically imitate everything that is human in order to convince other humans that they're the real deal. They're not the real deal. They are all artificial, but they are also all just not really humane, or they only do that to get, you know, the humans' admiration and trust, and you know, to where you will believe that they are what they're actually not. But when you have these videos, you've actually got like the very best of the demigods, because they are real pretend human beings. They're the great pretenders, as the great pretender and the great pretender demigod music artist icon idol sings, but also my use of music, because to me music expresses things easier than my words. It's more and it has the emotional content. But all this is part of them pretending. Most human beings around me and even on the screen do not really relate to creative, positive music in any way. They sing the love songs, but they do not experience or actually enjoy love. That's a higher vibration, or as someone said to me a few years ago, love is probably the highest vibration. And that was, as I mentioned, interesting, considering that that being actually also did not really live that way at all. I mean, it's one thing, I mean, obviously I haven't lived that way either, but it's like the demigods, the professors and the psychologists, and even those that are would-be psychologists that are pretty much like myself, a would-be psychologist, in other words, where you have watched so many programs and information on the subject of the personalities of essentially these apparent real human beings that are essentially the equivalent of psychopaths, you know, or a psychopathic nature in a human body. But that's just putting it fancy, because essentially they're, and of course I find it hard to describe exactly what they are. I see what they are, and I've experienced it, I've interacted with them, and I experience their patrol force daily, which shows me their mindset, that they are basically there to take your humanity from you and then pretend to be your humanity, so that they have control at an influential and real level. That's what they do around the area where I am. That's why they watch me like a hawk, and they read my mind, and then they're like, well, what she just thought about something, we're going to put that into practice. She can't put it into practice, but we're going to take her ideas and her thoughts and make them a reality in her local area. So basically, she looks like an android and we look like the real human beings. And that's what they do every day. I see it with my own eyes. I could use tons of examples of it. Now, but I would normally say it would be a good thing if I think something's a good idea, because you can see if they fill a pothole, you can see if they, you know, all walk dogs and care about having some trees and stuff like this. But what I would say is that a lot of it is total deception, not only because they don't really believe in that, it's merely a facade, it's merely to gloss over their true nature so that they look as though they're doing something good. But that's all showmanship. It's like, it's showmanship. It's pretense. You know, that's what it is. It's pretense. It's pretense. And there's a plane going over. The planes are still going over. I can't be bothered getting it, but I can hear it on the roof. And, you know, I got no, you know, I got no I'll just wind this through, because this is one of the best demigods on the computer. I'm telling you, they're literally informing on themselves. They're literally explaining their mindset. This is almost like this is like an advanced, this is like, you know, your most advanced this is like one of your most advanced beings informing you about, telling you the mindset of their kind, of how they actually think in a quite detailed manner, to where you know, I could almost be grateful for the insight into the workings of their psychopathic mind. That means that they just don't feel for, you know, we all know what a psychopath is like. They're basically a cold machine being in a way. but they're but those that are steeped in the spirit of narcissism, as they call it, they actually like to be, they're like the end time prophets or the end time informers or the end time preachers or the end time, goody two-shoes that will help you and that will, but it's very interesting that, it's very believable too, because their transhumanism is so well done now that the transhumanism is very well done. I can't quite explain it, but they are imitating the real humans to such an extent that they imitate the real humans to such an extent that you can see how they don't feel positive, evidently, just as we know a psychopathic person that is filled with the spirit of narcissism. That means that's what they call the narcissistic personality disorder. And they will tell you the truth about themselves. They're literally giving you a textbook analysis, some of them, of what they are, but they will be pretty much promoting it the other way, that they are the that they're essentially the truth tellers. They and when you go in close, you can almost sometimes see an innocence, but then, like, I'm just pausing this video. I haven't watched the whole lot of it yet, but it's very good for me, but also, of course, very disturbing, because it's like when you realise that you're surrounded by 200,000 of pretend human beings that have this mindset, they have this mindset, they have this mindset. It's like being surrounded by 200,000 psychopaths in the area where I am, and that's where they've got that patrol control force around you all the time. When you go outside, intermittently, but if they think that you are actually trying to live or trying to exist, or just trying to do basic things on your own, to where you don't want you don't want 200,000 stalkers around you, because that's essentially what they are. And as these beings will even tell you, the informers, your whatever word you want to use, because they will all have different titles, they will all pretend to be different people, they have different images, but they're all, to my way of looking at it, they are still all, unfortunately for me and for anyone else, if you are not part of it, or you're not one of the God entity's disciples, consciously or unconsciously, because I've said this before, I think that if you are unconscious, like most of them probably believe they are real humans, but then when they see a real human, they realise that they are not as much a real human as what they think they are. And this is, I think, then sets them off to, at a personal level, attack. You know, because they essentially do think, you know, they're very impressive, the demigods, whether they be your actors, and as they will even tell you, they are actors,